If we're followers of Jesus, if we are his disciples, then each of us will have our own unique mission field, a front line, or actually we'll probably have several. So it could be on a Monday morning in the workplace, it could be as a parent at the school gate, it could be in the gym club, in the leisure club, it could be when we go shopping and meet people, or perhaps in our retirement, it could be as we meet our neighbours and our friends. And also sometimes it can be in the context of our own family, because there may be those in our family who don't actually share our faith. And I think it's not so much about us discovering our front lines, because in many ways they're all around us. It's actually about recapturing that sense of vocation, that sense of calling, because what God actually calls me to do is to be who I am and where I am. Now, for some of us, that might be in the context of the church, but for the majority of us, that will definitely, most definitely be in other places. And what does Jesus want us to be? He wants us to be salt and light, affecting and influencing those we meet. There's a really, really helpful passage on this in Jeremiah. And Jeremiah writes a letter to people who are in exile in Babylon. They're God's people. And they must have been feeling incredibly dislocated and fragile and rejected amongst people who are actually their enemies. And what Jeremiah says to them, he doesn't say, well, hey, stiff upper lip, get on with it. Hopefully it will soon be over. But he tells them to actually settle down, to engage with those people who are around them. He tells them to plant and to build and to work and to marry and to have children. And he also says, pray for the peace and prosperity of the city, because if it prospers, so will you. And so what Jeremiah was calling these people to was to be what they were, exactly where God had placed them, and to enable people around them to flourish socially, economically and politically. And this is part, I think, of a wider biblical mandate, that we are to be God's people right where we are. Jesus picks this up in the New Testament in his teaching in so many different ways, that we're cities on a hill that cannot be hidden. And also the Apostle Paul telling us that whatever we do in word or deed, to do it all in the name of Jesus, giving thanks to the Father through him. So I think it's all about taking people back to basics and reminding people that their front lines, their mission opportunities are exactly where they are. I think often we can get frustrated thinking, oh, I'm not saying enough, I'm not telling people enough about the gospel. But it's about living our lives, actually being who we are called to be, perhaps in an office context, not joining in the office gossip or helping somebody who's in need. It may be at the school gate, sharing our stories of rearing and bringing up our children and identifying with parents in some of the struggles that we can all experience. But there are so many, many opportunities for each one of us.